There we go. So awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So how's everything going for you guys so far? Is Math 100L harder than GS 120?
Yes, it's a bit harder.
It's a bit harder.
Yeah, because you need to concentrate more.
But Lena, you have your great husband who knows math really well.
Yeah, he's also busy most of the time, so I try here and there to get help from him. So yeah, it helps.
That's good.
Mhm.
Lena, your English sounds great.
Thank you.
And I love your accent. It's very pretty.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to wait for like about 5 minutes for everyone else to show up and then we'll get started.
Okay.
I'm going to.
Sounds good.
Let's see. All right. You know what? We're going to get started and whoever gets here later can just jump right in. So, or they can watch it later. All right. I'm going to share this screen with you guys. I'm going to start. All right. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Does it say portfolio projects across the top?
Yes.
Okay. And remind Sister Goodwill to record the meeting. I already started recording, so we're good. All right. So there was a document in lesson 1 that kind of went over the portfolio project really quickly. So I'm going to kind of give you more of an idea of what the portfolio project's going to look like. And I'm going to show you like a completed portfolio project so you can see what it's going to look like and what you're going to do. So we're going to do 3 things: the overview of the portfolio project. I'll do a short introduction to Excel in case you're not very familiar with it. And then just a short spiritual thought at the end. So the overview of the portfolio project. So the portfolio project has 3 parts. There's the life plan, the budget and expenses, and the visual charts. So we're going to go over each of those 3 parts. So the life plan is going to be one file. It's going to be an Excel file, and you're going to add parts to it as we go along in the class, okay? And then the budget and expenses, that's going to be a separate Excel file. And we're going to work on that throughout the class too. And then the visual charts is actually something that you could actually do on a piece of paper. It's not something that you're going to turn into me. You're going to use it to study for your unit tests. And the visual charts you want to do a really good job on. We'll talk about those in a second. We're going to talk about the life plan first, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So the life plan, the life plan file that you're going to create is going to give you some tools that you can use when you're working with money, when you're working on finances, okay? So this week we are in lesson 2. So we're doing life plan part 1, which is a future budget. Mm-hmm. Have you guys looked at that yet?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So that's the first part of the life plan assignment. The next one's going to be in lesson 5. Mm-hmm. So we're going to skip a few lessons before we work on the life plan some more. And then you're going to do an assignment where you calculate savings. And I'll show you what that looks like. And then in lesson 10, you're going to do part 3. And you're going to learn how to calculate a monthly payment for a car or a house. A car and a house. And then in lesson 11, you're going to do part 4, where you're going to show how a savings account can grow, okay? So I don't want you guys to feel overwhelmed. Just watch and kind of take it in and kind of see what it's going to look like, okay? It's not that bad because you're going to do one of these at a time and you'll get lots of help. So it's not going to be that hard. All right, I'm going to switch my screen over and show you the life plan. Okay, so I just have a folder. Hold on, here we go. So I have a folder on my computer, and in my folder I have two files in there, and one of them is this, and you can see up on the top, can you guys see that it's labeled life plan _ Cindy Goodwill? Do you guys see that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In the directions, it specifically says that that's what you need to name your file. You need to make sure that you give it the correct name, otherwise you will get points taken off. Okay. For the life plan assignments, if you look at the rubric and follow the rubric and do exactly what it says on the rubric, you should get a good grade every single time. So here's my life plan Cindy Goodwill file. And in it, you see I have 4 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And on the first page, I put life plan part 1. Okay. I labeled it down here on the bottom. You don't have to label it life plan part 1, but you can if you want to. And I could show you how to do that. But so this is the assignment for this week. You're making a budget for 5 years in the future. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You need to show your income and you need to show expenses, so the money that's going out. And then you need to show that your income is more than your expenses. So for mine, I have a total here. This is my total income. And these are my total expenses. And then difference means that I subtracted them. So I have more money coming in than I have going out. Okay? And when we get to lesson 5, we're going to work on life plan part 2. And this is what it's going to look like. And I have a video that shows you how to do it that will help you out with that. Mm-hmm. And then here's life plan part 3, where you figure out how much you would pay each month if you were going to buy a house. So this is in the area where I live. This is about how much you would pay each month to buy a house. And then this is about how much you would pay each month to buy a car. So you're going to learn how to do the calculations in Excel to figure this out, which is kind of fun. And then life plan part 4, you are figuring out how much money you can save in a savings account if you put $50 in every month, and you have a 7% interest. And by the end of 20 years, you're going to have about $26,000. So this is just one example. You're going to be able to choose how much money you put in each month and what percentage rate, and you're going to learn how to calculate this. And you get to learn how to do the graph too, which is a fun part of Excel. Okay, so this is just kind of an overview. I'm not going into details on how to do each of these assignments, but kind of gives you an idea of what it's going to look like when you're all done. Okay?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead, Lena. What's your question?
Like for the income that comes in, do I have to make an individual, like say my salary only, or can I combine it with my husband?
Yes, I suggest that if you're doing income, that you add up whatever income you and your husband have and kind of make it a family budget. That's probably the best idea.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go back to... Here we go. All right, so that kind of gave you an overview of what the life plan file is going to look like when you're all done. Mm-hmm. The budget and expenses one in GS 120L, you guys had a chance to track your expenses and I think you made a budget too. Did you make a budget in GS 120?
Yes, we did.
Okay. So we're going to do that again in this class. So starting in lesson 3, you're going to create a budget and you're going to start tracking your expenses. You're going to do that for 4 weeks. And then you're going to turn it in again at lesson 7, and you'll get graded for lesson 3 and lesson 7. So lesson 3, you show that you have a budget and you started tracking your expenses. And then lesson 7, you show that you've been tracking your expenses for 4 weeks and keeping track of your budget. So I'll show you an example that I made of that real quick. Where did I put it? Here it is. Okay, hold on a second. There it is. Okay. So this one, again, I have 2 pages down here on the bottom. To add a page, you just have to click the plus button down here on the bottom. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. And then if you wanted to change the name of your pages, you right click and then you can rename the page. So if you wanted to be able to do that, you can, but you don't have to do that. So here's an example budget where I have the planned and the actual. And then over here, I have my tracking sheet where I keep track of. So this right here is for January. You can see it says January, and then I have the day, and then I keep track of what I spend and where I spend it. And then the category has to do with the budget, where I'm going to put it in my budget over here. And then what I do, you can do it whatever way you want, but I always fill mine in. I change it so it's gray as soon as I put it in my budget. So for example, for Home Depot, $10, when I put it in my budget under home repair, see there's the $10, I make it gray so I know that it's now in my budget. So like Home Depot, $5, I could change that and make that one gray. Hold on. I could change that one so it's, hold on, it's not doing it. There we go. So I could fill that one in gray, and then I can add it over here and make that $15. So that's an example of one way you could do your budget and tracking your expenses. But there's lots of different ways that people track expenses. You could do it on a piece of paper, but for turning it into the class, you're going to need to put it on Excel. So if you do it on a piece of paper, you have to transfer it to Excel in order to be able to turn it in. Okay? And so let's go back.
So I have a question, another one.
Sure. No, I like questions.
Okay, so for every budget that we are going to be doing, like the one for our life plan, we just use the same spreadsheet, just and then just adding on extra sheets, or do we have to always open up a new spreadsheet and then record our things? I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
So do we need like a new file for everything? So
yeah.
So the budget and expenses, this assignment right here, this is going to be one file.
Mm-hmm.
So you do tracking your expenses and your budget. Some people do it on one sheet of paper. They have the budget and they track their expenses on the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people add a second sheet so they have 2 sheets, but you can do it whatever way you want.
Okay.
Okay? And then the life plan, this assignment, the life plan assignment, that's a different file. And this one, you need to do the different sheets for each assignment because there's 4 parts to the assignment and you'll have to do the different sheets and add them on. Okay? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So then the third part of the portfolio project is the visual charts. And like I said, this is where you learn how to study for your math tests.
Mm-hmm.
And Brother Baird has a really nice video where he explains how you make your visual charts. And your visual charts, they don't have to be something on the computer. You can actually do them by hand. because they're not something you're going to turn in. You're just going to report on whether you did them or not. Okay? And you want to do a really good job on your visual charts because, first of all, they help you study for your exams. And second of all, you can use them on your final exam. So you can't have the textbook open, you can't have any other notes, but your visual charts you're allowed to use on your final exam. So do a really good job with those. And your visual charts, you can see they're due during lesson 4 and 7 and 10 and 13. And those are the weeks that you have unit tests. So they're part, the class, they make the studying for the test, the visual charts is part of studying for the test for that week. Okay? And I'm not going to go into how you're going to do the visual charts because Brother Baird's video explains it really well. So when you get to lesson 4, look for that video and you can ask questions if you have then. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Do you guys have any questions on the visual charts then?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the portfolio projects, this is how they all line up. So lesson 2, we're in lesson 2 right now. You're doing your life plan part 1. In lesson 3, you're going to start your budget and expenses. So that's a new file that you're going to open up. Okay. Lesson 4, you're doing 2 visual charts to help you study for your exam. In lesson 5, you're going to do life plan part 2. And then lesson 6, there's no portfolio project due. So there's some weeks where you won't have a portfolio project. Okay. Lesson 7, you have the budget and expenses part 2. And remember the budget expenses, you started up here in lesson 3 and you're going to be tracking your expenses and working on your budget all the way down to lesson 7. And then you turn it in. And you also have the visual chart report for lesson 7 because you have an exam that week too. And then lesson 8 and 9, there's no portfolio projects those weeks. So those are a little bit easier weeks. And then lesson 10, you have life plan part 3 and your linear equations visual chart reports. And then you have in lesson 11, your life plan part 4. And again, lesson 12, you don't have a portfolio project assignment due. And then lesson 13. So if you wanted to, you don't need to worry about this so much. I just wanted to show that you're not going to be doing it every week, just some weeks. And it kind of, it's spread out over the whole semester. So anyways, so really quick, I just wanted to show you, are you guys very familiar with Excel?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay. I'm just going to show you some things that you can do on Excel. There we go. There we go. Okay, so this is an Excel spreadsheet that I just opened up, just a blank one. And these are called cells. And they're labeled by the columns and the rows. So this would be called B3 right here. And you can type words into it. B3. There we go. But you can also type numbers in. And you can put in like symbols like $500. You can also type equations into the cells, and we're going to get into this more later on. So equations always start with an equal sign. So I can type in 5 plus 6. And then when I hit return, it gives you 11, which is the answer. Do you see that? If you look up here at the top, you can actually see the equation that's put in there, but in the cell, they give you the answer. You can also put in equations that have numbers from other cells. So I put in the equal sign, and then I'm going to come up here and click on B4, which has a 500 in it. And then I'm going to add 10 to that. And then when I hit return, it gives me 510 because it took the number that was in B4 and it added 10 to it. Do you see how that works? Okay.
Which is the return button, the one that you are talking about?
The return button, it's either enter or return.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah. So some other fun things you can do with Excel is you can take the cells and you can color them. So this little bucket right here, you can fill it with a color. So I could fill it with red, and I could change the lettering to white. So then it looks kind of cool. And let's see, you can also change the sizes of your cells by moving them. You just go up to the top right here, and when your cursor changes to that line with the arrows on either side, that means you can grab it and move it and change the sizes. You can also do that here. So you can make things bigger and smaller. Let's see. We're going to get into some formulas. When you click here on that FX button, it brings up a bunch of formulas. I'll show you one formula that I use a lot. So if I have a list of numbers, whoops. Oh, great, I'm adding things there. So if I listed numbers like 4 and 5 and 10 and 15, underneath all those, I can put the equal sign, and then I can type in sum, and then an open parentheses, and then I can highlight all those numbers and then close parentheses. And then when I hit the enter or return button, it adds up all of those numbers. So there's a lot of fun things you can do with Excel, and you can go onto YouTube and there's lots of videos on how to use Excel. But that kind of gives you an idea of some of the fun things you can do. Excel's great for working with numbers and finances, and I keep I have my budget in Excel, and I find it very useful. So anyways, I just wanted to show you those few things in Excel. So I'm going to move back to here. And then I just had one spiritual thought I wanted to share at the end. And then you guys can ask any questions you want. So this is Robert D. Hales. He said, Christ not only calms the physical seas, but he can also calm the seas within our minds and souls. And I know that I have more students each semester that say they're nervous about math than I have students who say that they're comfortable with math. And I know that math can make people very nervous. There's a lot of people who've had bad experiences. They might have had a bad teacher or had a real hard time with math. So I understand that it's not everyone's favorite subject. But I know you guys can get through this class. And I know that Heavenly Father can help you, and that he can help you feel at peace if you ask for help. Even if it's hard, you guys can feel at peace while you're doing this and while you're learning about math. So I say those things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just having trouble with rounding off numbers.
Yes.
So sometimes I get it right, and then sometimes I don't know. Especially when the numbers become big.
Yeah.
I kind of like get confused, and then I just mess up everything.
Can you give me an example of a one that you had problems with?
Check my notes quickly. Okay, yeah. So like the 558, 5398.2 484.
5585. It's hard to write with my mouse. Sorry. 398. Is that what it says?
No. 5. So
5.
8.
5
I
8.
mean, no, 538. Sorry.
Hold on. 538.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Point. There's a point there or a comma. I don't know.
Point.
Comma.
Is it a comma? Okay, comma.
Yeah, it's a comma. Yeah, and then 484.
484.
Yeah.
Okay. So 538,484. Okay.
And then it says round off to the nearest 1,000.
1,000. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you know which number's in the 1,000 place?
Now that's the tricky part now. Which one is in the 1,000? Is
Tanya,
it the 3?
Nope. This is 10,000.
Number 8.
Yes.
Number 8. Okay. Thank you.
10,000. Okay. I have to find a better way to write. I'm just going to abbreviate that. So this is the 1,000th place, the 8 is.
Mm-hmm.
And, whew, okay. So we want to look at the number just to the right of it.
Yeah.
And if it's 5 and above, then the 8 becomes bigger.
Yes.
If it's 4 and below, then the 8 stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's 4 and below, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to end up as 538,000. 0, 0, 0. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's the answer.
is the rounding hard or is finding the place value hard?
I think finding the place value.
Okay. Do you have a chart that you can look at?
I just got one like today, but I only downloaded it, like it's on my computer.
Oh, okay.
I got today from the tutoring center.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use a chart and just look at that until you get used to it.
Okay. So do I have to memorize these thousands and the unit,
Yep.
the whole table? Do I have to memorize it?
It would be good to know probably up to 1 million.
Okay.
Yeah, the place value.
Okay. All right. Makes sense now.
Okay.
You. Yeah. Thank you. And then I had the one dividing the sums.
Uh-huh.
So you just have to round them off and then you divide. But then I've noticed
Right.
like when we did the exercise, I have the exercise of part C, some of the answers, I don't understand how they came up with the answers, because when I'm calculating, I'm getting a different answer.
Okay, tell me one of them. I want to see if I can type this better.
Yeah, so there's one, they say 82.
Oh, 82?
Yeah, 82 times 2890.
890. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
they are asking for estimation.
So we have to estimate and then do the multiplication, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So What would we round 82 to?
82 will become an 80.
Right? And then the 2,890, what would you round that to?
2,900.
They want you to round it to the largest number, the largest place value.
3,000.
Yes.
3,000.
3,000. They want you, yeah, and all the problems they ask, they want you to round it to the largest place value.
Okay.
So then we have to do 8 times 3. Whoops. What's 8 times 3?
24.
24. And then add the zeros on. We have 4 zeros.
Okay, then it becomes 240. Okay.
240,000.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help?
Yeah, it helps because I calculated it and I got like, I didn't round it off to the highest, like,
Right.
I just, yeah. So I got it wrong on that. And then there's another one,
Okay.
the 639.456.
Yes. Okay.
Divided by 61987.
61987.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Is that a comma or a decimal point for that one?
It's a comma.
Oh, it's a comma. Okay. Whoa.
Which one? The first number.
Yeah, the first number. Is that a comma or a decimal point?
It's a comma.
Okay. That changes it a little bit. There we go. Okay. So
The comma in the second number is,
it's in the wrong place.
yeah.
Thanks. You're right.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one becomes what? We have 639,456.
Mm-hmm.
What does that become?
600,000.
600,000. Okay.
Yep. And then the second one. What do you think?
60,000.
Yes, 60,000. Good. All right. So 6 divided by 6 is going to give us a 1, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's going to give us a 1 and then?
A 1. And then we have 4 zeros here and 1 0 here. So this one has 1 more than this one. So when we divide it, we're actually going to end up with 1 0 left over. So it's going to end up as 10.
So the answer is 10.
Yeah.
But they have 100.
Oh, they have 100?
Yeah, they have 100.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should be 10. I will have to look at it.
Yeah. Because I was wondering also, like,
if those numbers are correct, it should be 10. What number is that?
it's number 12 on exercise 1, section 1, 2, exercise part C.
Section 1.2, part C?
Yes. And
Number
the number is number 12.
Okay. I will look that up and double check for you. And I'm writing it down.
Okay. And then there's another one also that I think I had a question mark also on it.
Okay, go ahead.
4-1.
Excuse me. Hello.
Hi, Godwin.
And
We can.
Yeah. Sorry, please, in the number 12, the question you just said, it is 600, it is a 6.1, not a 61. I'm not looking at the question now. 6.198.
Godwin, we can barely hear you.
We can't hear you. Maybe you can help us out.
Hey, Godwin, can you go over to the chat and type in what you want to say? Do you guys see the chat?
Okay.
Maybe he should type.
Sorry.
Oh.
Is he typing?
No, he's not, but can you guys see the chat?
Yeah, I can see the chat thing here down.
Okay. So Lena, just tell me your other question maybe while he's,
Okay. The other one was 56 comma 200
okay.
divided by 12.
Oops. All right. So 56,200. That's going to round to what?
Hmm. 56.
What? I think you have the right answer. What did you say?
50,000.
The 6. So there's a 6 after the 5.
So it becomes 6. We add 1 onto the 5 and then it becomes 60.
Yeah, you round it up. So it becomes 60,000. And then the 12 rounds to what?
It becomes 10.
Right. Now when you divide 60,000 by 10, that's going to take one of those zeros off. And we end up with
6,000.
the 6 divided by the 1 just gives us a 6.
Mhm.
And we have 4 zeros here and there's 1 0 there. And this 1 0 kind of takes off one of those zeros and you end up with 3 zeros left over.
Okay, I see where my problem was. I made this, I think I made it 50,000 and then that's why I got it wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Those are good questions. Do you guys have any more questions?
I'm good for now. I think I just need to practice more.
Okay.
Mhm.
And Godwin, did you figure out how to type in your question? I can't tell if he's even on. All right. Okay. Thanks you guys for meeting and getting online. This has been fun and it's been awesome seeing you.
Thank you.
I love being able to see my students and talk to them. So
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. I will see you in the class later on this week then.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye. Bye.